Reason why Netflix very much decided to, shall we say, bypass on some of this original offerings from Meghan and Harry. As ever, let me explain. Hi, good morning. How are you? Nice to see you today. Yes, let's have a wave. Nice to have your company. Welcome, one and all, brand new subscribers on a beautiful sunny day. We've got to cherish these moments, haven't we? Yes, I know. I'm glad you agree. No, we do, honestly. It's a salty day. I don't know about you, but I could just sit down with a nice scone, jam, and a cup of tea. It doesn't have to be anywhere posh. Could be on a park bench somewhere, but it's the sort of day you just want to stay out as long as you can to get some of that free vitamin D. Hope everybody's looking after themselves out there, whatever you're doing. Do as I say, make sure you take everything you've got to take, all that sort of stuff. You just need to keep healthy. Can't stress it enough. And thank you for noticing that the cold virtually has gone now. What a battle that's been, do you know what I mean? Yeah, not easy, is it? I know, just drains you, doesn't it, after a while? Maybe that's why I'm craving a scone. But anyway, let's get back to your breaking raw story of the day. Someone asked me also, by the way, oh, Neil, there's a lot of sirens when you make your films. I can't help that. You know, we're literally in the middle of London and there's obviously a lot of problems, as I've told you before, crime-wise. Hopefully, they'll stop soon. Let's over to your breaking roll story of the day. What's fascinating, I think, about this is, as we now know, way back in 2021, when Harry and Meghan did that very fake royal tour over to New York City, everybody was baffled by it, weren't they? You know, there was the camera crew, the hidden microphones. Then we've now found out, all thanks to the freedom of information, the demands that were made. I mean, ridiculous demands to school children at a Harlem school, while Meghan graciously read her own book. I mean, just ridiculous. You know, you're either in it or you're not. And I think really this is a big problem for Meghan's latest team. Told you before how they get out this though. They just simply blame the other person. You know, oh, it's not, we didn't know about that. Oh, it's nothing to do with us. Of course you knew. Of course you know what's going on. It's nothing new. This is what happens with celebrities all the time. You get asked when you go to interview them, what side will they be sitting on? Where will you be? We want the questions. Oh, I don't do any of that, as you can imagine. Very brutal in my assessment of things. But the thing is, what's happened now, according to a very well-placed source, is that the reason why all of that footage, you know, the big sort of New York trip, as it was dubbed, that was going to be the very first thing to sort of show Harry and Meghan in the good light. Now, somewhere along the line, Netflix decided it was junk. You know, and I don't know whether they got release forms, that's still coming, about those meetings that they had with various people, including the then mayor of New York City, all of that sort of stuff. But Netflix did not want any truck with this. Now, it's interesting because all of those executives that were there at that particular point had originally signed Harry and Meghan, you see. So that's another interesting sect to this particular story. You know, they must have looked at it and thought, well, what is this? And really, what was it? You just had them going in and out of buildings, and Meghan dressed in these ridiculous outfits like Santa Claus in that massive heat in Harlem, reading to school children that were not allowed to write anything negative on social media. How controlling is that? Incredible in itself. So you see, when you consider they very quickly had to come up with a lot of salacious stuff on that docu-series with Netflix to prove to the fact that they're still worth something. And that's the stuff that really sold. Netflix had no intention of looking at some puff piece and basically saying, yes, that will do. So the New York City rhythm for Meghan and Harry really played out, but not to the way that they first felt. Right now, with the flop of Heart of Invictus, and more importantly, Up in the Air regarding Africa and other projects on the loose, it's interesting to see what direction Netflix will now take with the former royals known as Harry and Meghan. It is a developing story. When I know more, you'll know more. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.